Welcome to another edition of Fastcast. Today, we will be interviewing Wish Krishnamoorthy, CEO of Qynergy. Wish will describe his experiences in the DOD SBIR process and discuss some important things to know about being an SBIR awardee.
Well, I want to welcome everybody to another edition of our Fastcast. Today we actually have Wish Krishnamoorthy, who is one of our New Mexico Fast entrepreneurial advisors. Wish is going to take a real quick minute to introduce himself and his company, Qynergy.
Yeah, I'm Wish, and my company is Qynergy Corporation. We are located in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We are a tech development company. We develop all kinds of technologies. Mostly these are technologies that are invented by scientists or individual inventors sitting around in their garage or whatever, and we work with them, champion their technologies for specific solutions for the military. And in doing so, we are always looking for funding to accelerate the technology from concept to small volume production, and that's what we do.
Okay, great. Thanks, Wish. So I'm going to run a couple questions by you in service of our listeners here who are more interested in actually putting together a DOD SBIR or STTR package. And I know that Qynergy has a lot of experience in actually winning awards. So what is, in your opinion, the most difficult aspect when you are preparing a DOD SBIR or STTR proposal? And how did Qynergy actually overcome that?
So one of the most important aspects, and probably one of the painful aspects, that my background as a scientist makes me think sciencey. So one of the most problematic things for us to keep deadlines. So at the time the proposal request comes in, you pretty much have about a month to get the proposal in. And the timeliness is the biggest problem because a lot of things are out of your hand, especially things like quotes required, recommendations from suppliers or recommendations from sponsors or manufacturers for putting stuff into the proposal. And so many times, if you wait till the last minute to get that information into the proposal gets very weak because at the end of the day, somebody is hurrying up to give you a recommendation letter, which is not too thought out. And so that was the biggest problem, to try to get very good recommendation letters, get all the quotes and everything together, all the peripheral stuff you need. The proposal writing itself is up to you, so it's not a problem. You can control your time. But asking other people to be timely to get their inputs in is the hard part. That was the biggest problem and the most first and best learning experience in writing a proposal.
Well, and it's interesting that you mentioned time because so we all know that it takes quite a bit of man hours to actually put together a DoD proposal. If you had to ballpark a figure, how many hours do you think it took you to submit your first proposal, and how did you effectively manage that time?
So it took me about, I would say, 2 weeks to 3 week man hours total, say, for the first proposal. Nowadays, it takes us within a week easy to put a proposal in, okay? Just to give you an idea as to how that happened, the first part, the biggest learning experience, like I told you, was timeliness, to get all the inputs up ahead, and so you can write the proposal. In terms of writing the proposal itself, each person has their own style to do this. The way I do my proposal is I bullet out and list out the most important things I want to convey in each section of the proposal. Once I bullet those things out, it doesn't take that long. It probably take a couple of hours to bullet the most important things out. Then you start writing around it and focus on getting those points across to the reviewer. So that's about it. Once you get that in, you're good to go. Then the biggest problem is making sure you're within the page limit. As a scientist, and as you can see from this podcast interview, I'm a verbose person. So it takes me, I write a lot more than I should, especially things of conveying about how much you have done in the past, okay? We have to keep the introduction and background section only to the relevant aspects of the proposal. And that's the hard part. And once you do that, it doesn't take very long to write a proposal after that. So that's what I do.
Gotcha. Okay. So kind of our last question here. So obviously, Qynergy has gone through a lot of proposal processes. If you were given the opportunity, would Qynergy continue to go after future DOD SBIR submissions, and why or why not?
Actually, we do. We do. We've done it in the past, and we're going to keep doing it because SBIR and STTR proposals are sort of a nice initial starting point for any technology development. And so the first thing for technology development, these are early stage or middle stage developed technologies. So we are able to do tech development and accelerate it without losing equity in doing so, because you need to have some money to do the work anyway. Why not get the money from the government in this case? That's the basic point from a just basically leveraging your opportunities kind of point. But two very important things that help in terms of why an SBIR STTR is important and why we'll keep doing it is that first, it verifies that what we are doing is important to somebody, okay? And that validates that our technology is useful, one. The second one is, as a scientist, we always try to look for everything tangential that is interesting, okay? This focuses us very clearly towards a product or solving a problem for a very specific customer. So your technology development becomes very clearly focused to a very clear product at the end of the day. And that's very important because especially putting on a scientist's hat for a second, getting focused is very hard because all kinds of interesting things happen as you're developing a technology and you're looking at every glittery object in some ways. So this, having an SBIR STTR really helps focus us towards the customer's needs. And so we have something we can follow. And that also helps for next stage funding and so on as you go forward to that specific customer, non-SBIR STTR types of fundings. So that's why we keep doing it.
Okay. Well, Wish, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day and talking to our FAST clients. Hopefully, all the information you imparted today and the wisdom you imparted about the DoD proposal process will help them along in their submissions. So thank you for your time today, and we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Happy to help.